Personality coming in 3, 2, 1. All right, so today I'm stepping a little out of the ordinary with these two helmets. This is the Simpson Ghost and the Simpson Mod Bandit. We got both of these helmets from Kyle, who runs the Many Bikes channel. If you follow dirt bike channels, you probably have heard of him, especially if you're in the ADV space. But he had these helmets lying around. He loaned them to us and was like, hey, you know what? Basically, what he was saying was that this is a pain in the ass to mount a GoPro to the front of these things, and it's because they've got this ridge down the middle on both of these helmets that make it so the GoPro is either facing one way or the other, and if you didn't like mount it to the side or something like that. So he was like, hey, you know, this is like a perfect helmet for the mounts that you guys are making, just because it's just difficult to get the center mounted mount on this thing. So super appreciate him loaning these to us, and we went in and we've made mounts for both of them. They're almost exactly the same, just a few millimeters of difference. So we have separate mounts for both of them. So that's kind of important to note if you're going to be looking for a mount for one of these. But I just wanted to jump into these mounts, again, how we made them, the specific value and benefits of the mounts that we make. So if you don't know already, our mounts are made specifically to the individual helmet. So in this case, it's made to the curvature of the helmet. It's slightly rounded, and the height and everything to get around the vents and make sure that we're leaving for plenty of airflow and whatnot. And we're also making them so that the mounting forks stick out far enough away from the helmet, so that way you can tip the camera back and get that tilt back angle, so that way it doesn't make it look like the camera's just looking down at the ground. Obviously, so there's two ways that you can mount this. You could mount it upside down if you wanted to get that lower perspective, but we've made all of our mounts so that they allow you to mount the camera upright, which is the angle that we prefer, just because it allows for a little bit better protection. And if you mount the camera upside down and you look down, the camera's more likely to hit you in the chest, which is why we've designed it that way. So it's just kind of up, out of the way, but like out of your line of sight, while not being kind of exposed to your chest and getting knocked around in that way either. So what we have also gone and done is we have reversed the screw direction of our mounts. Typically with any mount you buy, what you'd see is the mount going in from left to right here. And we've done ours so that it goes through the opposite direction, right to left. The reason for that being is that the side door on all these newer GoPros, the 8 and the 9, have this battery door on this side where the screw handle would have otherwise been, and it's hard to get that door open with the screw in. So if you're trying to change out batteries on the fly or something like that, that can get in your way. So we just switched it around to the other side. And then what we've also gone and done is we've incorporated little tick marks here, and those allow you to see kind of your tilt back angle. One tip that you may want to consider if you're riding dirt bikes or something like that and you're standing up a lot on your bike, you're standing and your helmet's tipped forward a little bit, right? So your eye level is top or is horizontal with the top of the viewport. So if you want a quick and easy way to adjust the camera angle for that kind of more attack position when you're riding, just tilt the camera back so that it's parallel with the top of the viewport, and that way the camera will be looking at what you're looking at and not looking down, not looking up. But that's also a helpful indicator if you're mounting the camera upside down or you're using some sort of attachment or something. These little tick marks that we put on the edge here will allow you to see where the camera is tipped back to, so you can get a consistency every time. On the subject of how we mount these, we stick these to the helmet with double-sided mounting tape. It's a 3M brand. It's what you would expect on like every single GoPro mount. The nice thing about these is that they're waterproof, and we design all of them to hold at least 20 pounds, which is more than enough for any GoPro. I mean, you could probably mount like a full-on DSLR camera to this mount and it wouldn't fall off. So it's plenty secure. It's not gonna fall off, it's not gonna move around. And if you do need to take it off, the tape is one-time use, but if you were to go down to the hardware store and get some double-sided mounting tape, you could cut it out and put it back on. Alternatively, we do sell replacement tape for all of our mounts on our website, so you can just go there and it's like $5, but you can get a replacement set of tape when you buy these as well. So typically speaking, we've really only developed these mounts for the off-road space. So enduro helmets, motocross, ADV, and mountain bike helmets are our specialty. These being the first street bike helmets that we've really worked on, and it was just because Kyle was like, hey, I've got these, you want them? And we're like, well, shoot, why not? Being that it is a street helmet, I think there's an advantage to the chin-mounted position, in that if you were to, like a lot of street bike guys will mount the camera on top of their helmet, and I think that could introduce a lot of drag at speed. Whereas if you were to mount it to your chin, the wind isn't going to have as much of an effect on it there. So I would imagine that the street bike guys are going to like that mounting position. Typically what we tell everybody who is riding off-road is that the advantage is it gives you more perspective on the depth of field from the perspective of the GoPro, because it's lower as opposed to mounting it on top. That 12 to 8 inches, I guess depending on how big your head is, makes a huge difference in the terrain and what you're able to see. So it gives you that depth of field that you wouldn't otherwise have if you were mounting it up higher. So one of the questions that we've been asked in the past is about whether or not the mounts will work with the media mod. Now, we've made all of these mounts to accommodate the Hero 9 with the media mod attached to it. And that's because this is a really big camera that GoPro's made. I'm hoping that they never make one that's bigger than this, but that's just kind of our starting point to make sure that we've given it enough space so that the Hero 9 with the media mod will fit in there. Obviously, you can mount this upside down. They designed this so that the screw would go in from left to right, and since we've switched ours, we can't take advantage of this little cutout that they've made in the media mod, but it still works just fine. You can scoot it in the other way. It's just a little bit tighter. My final thing that I want to mention is just kind of what you're going to get out of these mounts when you buy one. So you're going to get a cool box. You're going to get the mount, and that's going to come with a single set of the double-sided mounting tape on the back. You're going to get a couple of stickers. You're going to get a cleaning wipe to clean the helmet with before you stick the mount on. And then you're going to get a screw that we include with this. I want to touch on mounting these things. Now, we have a full video for mounting these if you're interested and you want to figure that out. It's a little bit more difficult than you might imagine, just seeing what it is. The hardest part is getting it on and situated and straight. In some cases, we've had people complain that the mount falls off, and I want to say that that's mostly because it may have gotten on crooked, or maybe the tape wasn't stuck all the way around. These things are made to sit flush against the helmet, and so if they're off in any little way, this tape's not going to fully stick. So it's important to make sure that these go on straight and that they're stuck all the way around just right, because otherwise, it might fall off. But what I like to do is I like to fit it up to the helmet before I mount it and clean the helmet. I just want to make sure that I understand where the mount goes on the helmet before I start to mount it up. Because as soon as you get it in there and it starts sticking to the helmet, it gets, it's just hard because it's stuck, and then you got to pull it off and then you got to reposition it. It's always better just to be able to get it on right the first time. So understand where it goes. And then what you're going to do is you're going to pull back on the mounting tabs. Now, on some of these helmets, that's easier said than done, just because some of them can be kind of funky. But you want to pull back on the mounting wings, and then you want to put it on, and you want to set it in. What you don't want to do is you don't want to go in too far. Like if you go in so far into the helmet, it could be sticking out towards the back of the wing. So you want to go in far enough. So you want to open these up, go in just far enough where you know it's going to sit, and then you want to release it so that it sticks all the way around. And then you want to press down on these mounting wings to make sure that it's stuck well all the way around. Now, there's a little bit of ability to maneuver and kind of twist and tweak it once you get it on there, because the mounting tape seems to have not like a hardening effect, but it definitely sets once it's been put in place. So once you put it on there, you can kind of get it to stick right, adjust it if you need to, just a little tiny bit, and then press it down, and then you should be good to go after that. It should be plenty sturdy, and it should never fall off until you want it to. All right, so that's pretty much everything there is to know. about these helmets, about our mounts. You know, we've got probably 45 of these things made so far. Our goal is to get the entire off-road sector covered, from mountain bikes to enduro to motocross, ATV, the whole bit. We may go into street someday and make more of these style helmets, but that's such a big market. Who knows? We'll put links in the description below where you can find our shop. Check those out. Also, if you want to get kind of a feel for the point of view that these mounts put out, check out our Instagram channel, because all of our clips have been filmed using these mounts for the most part, and that will allow you to kind of get a feel for what that looks like. Hope you find this valuable.